The silent crisis. 10 bills the middle class can nitrogen monoxide longer afford the American middle class. It used to be a symbol of stability, a lifestyle built on hard work, homeownership, and a decent safety net. But today, that security is crumbling beneath our feet. Even families with 2 incomes, solid health insurance, and college degrees are finding themselves stretched beyond their absolute limits. While headlines scream about inflation and national debt, it's the day-to-day bills, once considered routine, manageable expenses, that are quietly gutting middle-class budgets. This isn't a sudden shock. It's a slow, insidious creep, month by month, as the cost of basic necessities relentlessly outpaces stagnant wages. The result? Millions are left with little choice but to cut corners, sink into debt, or fall dangerously behind. Get ready to confront the uncomfortable truth as we reveal 10 bills that middle-class Americans are increasingly unable to afford in 2025, and what this troubling shift says about the state of the modern economy. 1. Health insurance premiums, the silent killer. Healthcare. It's supposed to be a fundamental right, but for the middle class, it's become a financial abyss. Even those with so-called good employer-sponsored health plans are finding themselves crippled by premiums so high they feel like a second mortgage. Year after year, these costs have risen steadily, while the actual coverage seems to thin out, leaving families paying more out of pocket for less actual care. For those who brave the open market, monthly premiums can easily rival a substantial car payment, especially for families or older adults nearing retirement. It's no longer rare to hear stories of people skipping vital checkups, delaying necessary procedures, or even tragically rationing prescriptions just to stay afloat. This isn't just a bill, it's a constant, terrifying gamble with your family's health and financial future. 2. Property taxes. The unseen home invader. Owning a home was once the ultimate hallmark of middle-class stability. But now, the very act of holding onto that home is becoming a luxury. Skyrocketing property values, while seemingly beneficial, have triggered an equally devastating surge in property taxes. In countless cities and suburbs across the country, homeowners are seeing annual tax increases in the thousands of dollars, often with little to no warning. These aren't always matched by better schools or improved services. Instead, these silent tax hikes relentlessly chip away at fixed incomes and meticulously planned retirement funds, hitting long-term homeowners particularly hard. Many are now struggling to stay in the very homes they've worked their entire lives to pay off, forced into a corner by a bill that just keeps growing. 3. Childcare costs, the impossible choice. For middle-class families with young children, a grim reality looms large. Childcare can now cost more than your actual mortgage. Daycare centers, essential after-school programs, and even summer camps come with eye-watering price tags that make your head spin. Many families feel utterly trapped, caught between an impossible choice. They cannot afford the exorbitant cost of care, but they also cannot afford to not work and earn an income. As government subsidies remain woefully limited and private options grow ever more expensive, some desperate parents are forced to downsize their jobs, take on exhausting night shifts, or piece together fragmented solutions just to survive. The bitter result? Burnout, profound instability, and a dramatic reduction in opportunities for career advancement. 4. Auto insurance. Driving on a tightrope. Getting around is no longer just about gas prices. Car insurance premiums have surged dramatically, driven by a perfect storm of rising vehicle repair costs, increased accident rates, and the expensive new tech features in modern cars that make even minor repairs a financial nightmare. For middle-class Americans, especially those with teenage drivers or older vehicles, these soaring premiums can devour a shocking portion of their monthly budget. In a desperate bid for short-term savings, some people are reducing their coverage, or even dropping it altogether, gambling on avoiding an accident despite the catastrophic long-term risk. It's a dangerous financial tightrope that more and more are being forced to walk, simply out of sheer desperation. 5. Utility bills. The budgeting nightmare. Remember when utility bills were just a predictable part of the monthly routine? Not anymore. Electricity, gas, water, and internet bills have all quietly, but relentlessly, climbed over the past several years. What used to be a manageable monthly total is now a complex, anxiety-inducing budgeting nightmare, especially during peak seasons when heating or cooling costs surge. Smart meters and complex tiered pricing models have added layers of confusion, while many states have drastically scaled back crucial assistance programs. For middle-class households, this translates into making profoundly uncomfortable decisions, like setting thermostats dangerously low in winter or rationing appliance use, just to avoid falling behind on their most basic necessities. 6. Groceries and household essentials. The checkout line. Stress. The grocery store checkout line has become a cold, hard source of financial stress for families across the country. Even the most careful shoppers, armed with coupons and loyalty programs, are finding that their carts cost a staggering 30 to 50% more than they did just a few short years ago. Staples like eggs, milk, bread, and fresh produce fluctuate wildly in price, making consistent meal planning a frustrating puzzle. Add in cleaning supplies, toiletries, and pet food, and it's no wonder that countless middle-class families now find themselves relying on credit cards or even local food banks just to cover their most basic needs. The act of feeding your family has become an acute financial battle. 7. Student loan payments, the generational burden. Despite ongoing debates about forgiveness and much-needed reform, millions of Americans are once again making full student loan payments, many for degrees that, tragically, didn't translate into high-paying jobs. For middle-class borrowers, especially parents who courageously co-signed or took out loans for their children, these relentless monthly payments are destabilizing long-term plans. Dreams of buying a home, saving for retirement, or even starting their own families are being relentlessly postponed or shattered entirely. This isn't just an individual burden, it's a financial weight that often spans generations, with entire families juggling the same crushing monthly bill. 8. Homeowners insurance. Protecting the unprotectable. Natural disasters, devastating wildfires, and increasingly unpredictable weather patterns have led to monumental shifts in the homeowners insurance industry. Premiums have surged to unprecedented levels, deductibles have risen dramatically, and in some areas, insurance companies are outright pulling out of regions, forcing homeowners into costly, state-run programs that offer less coverage for more money. Even those without a single claim are being hit with unexplained premium hikes, leaving many middle-class families questioning whether they can truly afford to adequately protect the biggest asset they own. The very foundation of their financial security feels increasingly vulnerable. 9. Subscription overload, the hidden drain. What started as a few harmless streaming services at $9.99 here and $14.99 there has quietly ballooned into hundreds of dollars each month. Streaming services, software subscriptions, delivery apps, news subscriptions, the accumulated cost of these recurring charges is a growing, insidious strain on middle-class budgets. Many households don't even realize the true extent of their spending until they perform a full audit. While canceling unused services can help, the uncomfortable truth is that many formerly free or affordable services, like basic TV, music, or even reading the news now require monthly payments to access fundamental features. It's a death by 1,000 paper cuts. 10. Emergency repairs and one-off costs. The final blow. It's not just the regular, predictable bills that are breaking the middle-class budget. It's the unpredictable, sudden ones that deliver the final, devastating blow. A leaking roof that suddenly gives way, a car transmission that unexpectedly blows, a dental procedure your insurance won't cover. These one-off, surprise expenses used to be an inconvenience. something you'd grit your teeth and get through. Now, for the middle class, they are utterly devastating. Millions of middle-class Americans increasingly lack the emergency funds to absorb even modest unexpected bills. With less financial wiggle room and constantly rising baseline costs, a single, unforeseen repair can send a family spiraling into crippling credit card debt or force them to delay other absolutely essential payments. The cost of middle class is no longer sustainable. The bills themselves haven't fundamentally changed, but the mathematical reality for millions of middle-class Americans has shifted dramatically. What used to be manageable monthly expenses are now financial landmines. Even families doing everything right, working hard, saving where they can, making careful choices, are watching their hard-earned savings shrink and their debts grow at an alarming rate. This isn't about extravagance or luxury spending. It's about bare-bones survival. From affording basic healthcare to simply keeping the lights on, the financial floor has risen so dramatically that staying afloat feels harder, more precarious, and more exhausting than ever before. Which everyday bill has become your biggest source of financial stress in recent years, and what are you doing to cope with this new, harsh reality? Share your experiences and strategies in the comments below, because in this unprecedented financial squeeze, we're all in this together.